Welcome to a realm where the pulse of sports thrills and the spark of technology sizzles. Join Ronald Unk Bolware and your charismatic host, Jay, aka Jonathan Anderson. Together, they unpack the latest in sports and technology. This is Noonish Sports and Tech.
Yes, sir. What's going down? What's going down, man? We are back for another very fun, awesome, favorite day of the week is Wednesday. Hello, how you doing? Episode of Noonish around here. What's going down, man? I'm very excited. I'm your host, J.A., a.k.a. Jonathan Anderson. Yes, we're going to get it in. And I'm here joined by my awesome co-host. It is, you know who it is, Mr. Ronald Unk Bolware. What's going down, huh?
Oh, not much, man. Just ready here on a Wednesday, my favorite day of the week. And it ain't got nothing to do with no hump.
Yeah, no, ain't got nothing to do with the hump.
No. We don't do all that over here.
Hey, but when you doing the Humpty back in 80, 89, 92, 93?
Hey.
Did you do the Humpty Hump?
Hey, I was a cowboy, had two humps. Like you said, hump of the hump. Hey, because one time doing that, I had two jobs. So I had two hump days in the same day. Yeah. Hump at day, hump in the day, hump at night. That don't sound right. I'm sorry about that.
Hey, it is what it is.
Hey, but it is what it is.
It was what it was, and I'm sure it was a good time.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you don't know, you're about to have a good time, man. Welcome to Noonish. We're about to get this thing rocking, man. You know what time it is, man. Time to go and bring in the first lady, F1. Let me get her up on this thing first before, bless y'all. Before she blesses y'all with this F1 session right now. You know, I can't do two things in one. Y'all, I don't got to say it again. Y'all should know that by now if you know me. What's going down, CY? How you doing, girl? We are feeling great. So happy that you were here with us today on the show.
Yeah, live and in person. Yeah. You know, that tape delay you sent in last week, that was very nice, but it's way better when you live, CY.
Well, I guess we're not really in person. You guys we've been in person, but this is as good as it can get from a distance. Yeah, pre-recording stuff not as fun.
Absolutely.
No one to laugh at my jokes. No one to shoot money out of my head, you know?
I mean, do you laugh at your own jokes though?
I sure do. I sure do.
Right, cool. Well, that counts. Can't say no one. You know, you had one laughing. If you look in the mirror, it's almost two.
Exactly.
What's going down? We got a lot moving in F1 this week, huh?
Thank the Lord, the good Lord. We are back with our second half of the season. It's a busy one, but we're back for the Dutch GP. It's Max's home race. You'll expect to see a lot of orange because fans get real rowdy. Let me just do a rundown on who's won the last three times at this particular track. You ready?
Yep.
Max Verstappen in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Max Verstappen in 2022.
I'm seeing a pattern.
Max Verstappen in 2021. So, if history is going to predict the outcome here, I have a sneaking suspicion that Red Bull will be back on the top spot. But I feel like for this particular track and the way it's shaped, the tires that they're going to be releasing for this particular event, I actually think McLaren has a pretty killer shot at winning this one. They've been doing so well. They've definitely got a dominant car. Their drivers are maybe a little bit less mature than somebody like Lewis or Max, but paired with a fast car and a good track that's set up for them, I see them being super competitive as well. So I wouldn't be shocked if we see a McLaren, Red Bull, and a Mercedes podium. I was really rooting for Aston Martin to get up on a podium. I love, Fernando Alonso has previously had multiple podium appearances, but they've yet to make one this entire season. They've been scoring points, but you haven't seen Stroll or Alonso on the podium. And I just, wanted to shake it up. So I'm secretly rooting that we get one of those guys on the podium as well. So we'll see. It's It's going to be a fun race. There's not really a lot of news that's come out since the last time we spoke. There's actually a lot more on the creator side of F1 that we should certainly talk about. But race-wise, this is a track that took quite a bit of a break. It's historical. It's been around for many years, but there was a nice little gap there, I think about 20 years, where they didn't actually race at this track at all. So when they finally came back, Max won every race since then. So we'll see what happens, but I'm excited about it. I'm ready to kick off Friday with practice.
Races, in regards to Max, though. I mean,
I know, and I've been wrong. I've been wrong in some instances. I've been right. I think that again, this has been as much as I kind of hate on Verstappen because he's always winning races and his history. I do think that this season has really shown how dynamic of a driver he is. It's more interesting to see him battle versus driving off and being 10 seconds ahead of the nearest competitor. So I like it. I like these close calls. I like it for the sport. I think it's interesting to watch other people win as well, but I definitely think it's challenging, Max, and that's how you become a better driver, a better athlete, right? To be challenged. So sure. It's fun to watch that. So I think that if my suspicions are correct, unless something crazy happens, I do though expect those orange fans out there cheering on Red Bull to be very pleased and happy with the outcome of this race.
Yeah. And I also saw that you had some NASCAR news that you wanted to talk about this past week. I do. We've had some really crazy races the last races since they took a little bit of an Olympic break. They had about 2 weeks off. When they came back, they had that crazy finish that I mentioned last week where there was a crash right at the final lap and multiple overtime. So teams are stressed, drivers are stressed. Austin Dillon goes to win it. Well, what happened this last weekend is kind of classic NASCAR. There was a rain delay. And it poses the question, like, when are we going to pick tracks where there isn't guaranteed rain? They were in Michigan this last weekend, and Michigan, of all of the tracks in NASCAR, has experienced the most amount of postponements or delays due to rain. And it just poses a question, like, you always see the frustration that happens when the race doesn't get started. I mean, like, you guys remember the old Ranger Stadium when they would delay for rain? It never really was a long time. Like, Texas, it could rain or blizzard at any moment. So they said, hey, because it's hot, there's rain issues, let's get as many games in as possible. They built a new stadium. They've got it covering. You can't really do that for NASCAR. So all of the rain delays cause a lot of frustration with media. I mean, imagine being, hey, I'm going to have a commercial in the middle of the NASCAR race on, TNT or NBC, and then it doesn't happen. So for this race, that exact situation, they tried to delay it as long as they could. Fans stayed as long as they could. But as you guys know, they really don't risk it with these particular types of cars. They'll race in F1, but with the curvature of these tracks, the incline, the track material themselves, these tires, the speed of these cars going, and usually in this circular fashion, isn't really set up for driving in the rain. Yep.
So they don't risk it. So they pushed the race to Monday. And Tyler Reddick from 23XI, Michael Jordan's team, came in to win it. He did really well. It was a cool finish, but just kind of poses that question, like, what are we going to do? Should we go race in the desert only? It isn't going to be too hot. But there have been so many. I've been to 50% of the races that I've been to have been rained out. So I used to think it was me that was the problem, but I think it's a NASCAR problem.
Well, no, it's cool. Like, he's been having some pretty good success here recently, right? Did he win the Chicago Street Race, or was he just the talk of the town because of his car? But he won another race recently.
Yeah, he's been doing quite well. They're a newer team, and there's a lot of talk about how they've been successful, over the last couple of seasons and competing with teams that have a lot more, longevity or experience, if you will. Yeah. And so it's cool. I like that dynamic. I actually got to meet some of the pit crew from that team. Nice. Fun fact, I got lost from my team when I went to go visit at Charlotte and couldn't find anybody, but I'm really short. If you guys don't know, I know I look like I'm 6'1", but I'm really 5'3" on a good day when there's some humidity.
Not all the way, 6'4".
But really not all the way. To really drive more eyes to the sport. But you know what? I don't know what Formula One's thinking. I think it's not going to keep people from tuning into the sport, but maybe it might slow down the creators' investment in driving these storylines and sending people to watch and listen. Exactly what I'm doing here. If my handle was not Christiana Yebra and it was like F1 Dallas Babe or whatever, I don't. That was a horrible name, but you know what I mean. Like if it was something.
That's a great name.
F1 Dallas Girl, Dallas Babe. or the Noonish F1 segment,
Yeah.
we'd be in trouble right now. And I just feel
Man.
like, what does it really matter? You know, we're still pumping out good messages. We want people to watch the race. Please tune in on Sunday. But it's a really interesting, I don't know. There's a lot of conversation that's going to come out about it. You know, they get huge checks for their sponsorship. So I think, you know, somebody who's got 1,000, I saw a creator who has 1,000 followers on TikTok, and she said that she got a letter from them to remove her handle. And I'm like,
wow.
So I don't know if they're cracking down. They're probably utilizing AI to track things. And I don't know. I, on one hand, applaud them for their protecting their brand equity. But the other part's like, come on, you know, like it's tough out there as is. Like let a girl have her F1 blog.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't see a problem with it. I think that they would want you to promote them, right?
Right.
Do you think they're like being picky, like in choosing which people they allow to?
I don't think so. I think that would be a really bad look if they were like cherry picking who got to use it and not. I think they're making a statement by saying nobody can. And I get that. I do. I totally get it. I get it from the brand side. Absolutely. But yeah, I've seen creators with followings that are less than 1,000. And then I've seen some who've got 50,000 plus. I think what's really interesting is some of the girls like the Paddock Project, they were invited to races. They actually got in front of them. And I wonder if that didn't speed up them being targeted to maybe rebrand. Now, they haven't talked about it publicly. I'm just speculating that that's why they changed it, just based on others. But it's kind of crazy. Like the more exposure you get to F1, the more you have to probably partake in their rules and follow their guidelines. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. The Dutch GP is a really nice kickoff to the rest of the season. Again, Max is not totally guaranteed to win the driver or constructor championship yet, but there's some good odds that he will. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yep. Right on. Right on. Man, I'm looking forward to it. You know, it's been a nice little break, and happy to have you back in action going in right now for the Noonish team, you know, and giving us this awesome report and keeping us up to speed.
Ooh, that's a good one. Up to speed on F1.
Yeah,
let me hold on one second. Let me write that down.
Hey, you know, take notes. You know, anybody else out there looking, you know, gonna take them good on notes. You know.
Hey, you know what? Now I'm like, should I have F1 in my fantasy football name? Are they gonna come for me on the Noonish fantasy football team? I don't know. We'll see.
You could be tricky. You could start it with F and end it with 1, and we could all know what was going on there. You don't necessarily have to have them, you know.
F1 Dallas Babe. That's going to be my name. So thank you guys. I can't wait to catch up next week and give you the results of the race. I'm really excited.
Awesome.
Finally have an F1 weekend.
Yep. We're excited as well and looking forward to it, Miss Christiana.
See you next week.
Yeah, you have a great week. And everybody take a bow and give a round of applause to the first lady of F1, you know. No, it's good seeing you though, girl.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll see you next
week.
Much. I'll be watching.
Bye, guys.
All right. Bye-bye.